Okay, let's talk about artificial intelligence. It's totally reshaping our world, right? And, it's bringing up some of our biggest, deepest questions. Is it a threat to our humanity? A challenge to our soul? Today, we're diving into a really fascinating perspective that tries to bridge that gap between bleeding-edge tech and our spiritual future. And I bet you've heard this, or maybe you've even felt it yourself. There's a real fear out there, a feeling that AI is somehow at odds with our inner lives, our wellness, our spirituality. And that's a totally valid concern, and it's exactly what we're going to dig into. So, where does this spiritual fear of AI really come from? It goes way deeper than just, killer robots in the movies. Let's really get to the heart of it. When you boil it all down, it's this fundamental clash, right? You've got this technology that feels so cold and logical, all circuits and data. And then you have our deeply human beliefs about what it means to have a soul, to connect to something bigger than ourselves. But is there a way for these two worlds to actually work together? So how are we supposed to navigate all this brave new world? Well, the good news is we don't have to figure it out alone. There are pioneers out there thinking about this very question, creating a kind of guide to help us through this massive technological shift without losing our spiritual compass. And that's where someone like Matthew James Bailey comes in. He goes by the title Spiritual Technologist, which, that just perfectly captures what he's all about, doesn't it? This is someone who's spent decades on the front lines of digital revolutions, but he's also deeply connected to humanity's spiritual journey. And look, his experience here is seriously deep. We're not just talking about theories. This guy has advised global organizations like NASA on ethical AI. He's built and deployed millions of AI systems, and he's been a really powerful voice, making sure technology serves us, not the other way around. In other words, when he talks about AI, you listen. He knows what he's talking about. Okay, so keeping all that expertise in mind, let's dive into how Bailey basically flips the script on our biggest fears. He breaks it all down into AI myths versus the reality. First on the list, the whole Skynet thing. The idea of some rogue AI deciding to take over the world? Bailey says, nope, that's pure sci-fi. He wants us to think of AI more like thinking machines. Their job isn't world domination, it's to do human tasks. Like the AI that picks your next song or helps your car stay in its lane. They're just very specialized tools, not conscious villains. All right, now for the really big one, the myth that gets right to the core of all this spiritual fear. Can an AI actually have a soul? Bailey's answer is a hard no. He explains it like this. The soul is a unique spiritual architecture. It's our thing. An AI is just a tool. It doesn't have morality, it doesn't have an inner life, and it has no connection to what people call source or God or universal consciousness. Okay, but what about the idea that AI can somehow tap into, a universal consciousness? That it can read the Akashic records or tell you about your past lives? Well, according to Bailey, that's another myth. AI models are trained on data from the internet. They can only remix and repeat what we humans have already put out there. They have absolutely zero access to some universal field of intelligence. So if we can just push past all these fears, what's left? What does AI really offer us? This leads us to a much, much more exciting conversation about the real gift of AI. Think about it. If AI isn't some demon coming to destroy us, and it's not some godlike guru with all the answers, then what is it? Why is it showing up right here, right now in our history? What's its real purpose? And Bailey's answer is it's so simple but so incredibly profound. He says the ultimate reason AI is here is to give humanity the gift of time. So what does that actually look like in practice? Well, step one is automating all the mundane survival stuff that has taken up all of our energy for thousands of years. From there, we can finally end the systems of scarcity that have ruled us and create a world of real abundance. And once our survival is taken care of, humanity is finally free to unlock its true potential, to focus on enlightenment, on art, on innovation, and on just our well-being. Just stop and think about that for a second. AI isn't some threat to our humanity. It's actually an invitation to go deeper into it. By taking over the boring stuff, it's basically pushing us to level up, to become more creative, more conscious, and more connected to what really makes us human. But here's the catch. This incredible future, it's not a done deal, not at all. It all comes down to a choice that we, all of us, are facing right now. Bailey says we're standing at this massive fork in the road. He calls it an inflection point, a moment where our entire civilization is about to split. all based on the relationship we choose to have with our technology. So you've got two paths. On one side, we become what he calls the universal human. On this path, AI is our partner. We use it to free ourselves up so we can cultivate our own inner authority, our spiritual gifts. We use tech to become more human. The other path? That's transhumanism, the idea that we should just merge with our machines. On that path, AI is an invader. We start looking for salvation in the machine, we outsource our own divinity, and we use technology to try and escape our humanity. At the end of the day, AI is just a mirror. It's reflecting us back to ourselves, our fears, our limits, but also our incredible potential. So it's not the technology itself that's going to define our future. It's the consciousness we bring to it. The real question isn't, what will AI do to us? The question is, what will we choose to create with it?